उमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So in this chapter of the Bhagavatam contains instructions given by Kapila Muni, or the answers given by Kapila Muni to his mother Devahuti. So we are discussing about the fundamental principles of material nature. So from the beginning of this chapter, we saw how originally the creation of Pradhana, the Mahattattva and Ahankara, false ego, being agitated through the three modes of material nature, Sattva, Raja and Tamo, and in turn giving rise to various elements. First of all, the subtle element of mind, intelligence, they were being created, and then the gross elements, earth, starting from sound, then fire, ether, sound, fire, various, all these elements were being created. And then how the Hiranmayad Andakoshat, the golden egg or Hiranmaya, the universe, how it was being created with different layers of all of this earth, water, fire, each layer 10 times thicker than the preceding one. So all those description in the previous verses we saw. Now in these three verses, 53, 54 and 55, we see how after this universal egg was created, there the Supreme Lord, what next? In this verse we see how Hiranmayad Andakoshad Utthaya Salile Shayat. This universe was lying or floating in the water, Salile. Tam Avishya Mahadevo. The Supreme Lord entered this Hiranmayad Bahuda Nirbibheda Kham. Nirbibheda, Bheda means to cut open or pierce. Nirbibheda Kham. Kham, here Prabhupada translates this verse as apertures. Kham means aperture, A-P-E-R-T-U-R-E-S, aperture. So this word actually, like in commonly we may not use. So I went deeper into this verse, into this word, aperture. It is an opening. The meaning goes like this, dictionary meaning, aperture. An aperture is commonly understood as a window or door, an element offering a controlled connection between interior and exterior in buildings. Just like all this building has many apertures in a controlled way, where to come from, where to go out, where like for ventilation, for different things. And just like in that camera also there is an aperture. If it is increased, the focus, it can be increased or decreased depending on what you want to capture. So likewise, let's say if we take this example, this temple itself, temple building, there are many doors here. Prominently 3 doors are there to come in and exit in 3 different directions. There are so many windows for lighting and ventilation, and few of them it's closed, we can't open that, it's only for lighting, no ventilation there. And say in the DT kitchen, that's also part of this temple building, there also door and windows are there, and there we find there is one water inlet, tap is there, water is coming, and that is connected to the syntax above. So through those different holes, water comes in. And there is another hole connected from the sink, wherein used water goes outside, which is connected to the drainage. And throughout we see there are different holes, electric wires are passing through it, and at different intervals there is switchboard, another aperture from where all the many things are connected, controlled, and the fans are hanging. There is a hole in the false ceiling, and that's how the fan is connected and supported from there, from that hole. That is how it is hanging there. So likewise, so this one building, it has to be put to use, means, see, on the contrary, if you imagine just someone constructs a building, simply one simple box or a rectangle, something with no door, window, nothing, it cannot be used. How can we enter inside? So all of these things are required for a building to be put to use properly. Similarly, there is our body also. There are different openings in the body, inlet, outlet, for sight, for hearing, for smelling, breathing, different purposes. Different openings are there. So we go about performing various activities through all of these things. So this body is nothing but part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Or in another sense we can say, it is a sample piece of the entire universal creation or the cosmic manifestation. So how this body, all these things, systematically things we see which are there in the creation of this particular body, we have experience of, it's nothing but a sample piece or a portion of the entire cosmic manifestation. So whatever we see in this body are there in the entire universe also. The opposite if we say, Shri Krishna Balarama ki, first the universal form was created in a particular way, and then as an imitation of that, these particular individual bodies are created. Now, another point we need to consider here, in this stage of creation, there comes about the creation of different deities, different devatas or demigods who are created, who take charge of these different departments or divisions or apertures of this cosmic manifestation. Just like, maybe let us compare again back to this temple hall example, this building. There are many doors. So these doors, they are being controlled. So we have experienced how every day in the morning, the security guard, he comes, opens the lock at specified times, and during night time, afternoon time, he comes and closes it, and that is being overseen by one devotee. Matharesh Prabhu will see that. And then there is, like say, for some electric problem, we have one person, any problem we call him, and some drainage problem, water problem, we have yet another person, we take help of him. So different people are there, personalities are there who take care or who are, we say, in charge of these different divisions, different departments, just in functioning of this one building, this temple room. Likewise, we see how in today's verse this stage of creation is being explained. All the elements, everything, all those things we saw, the entire universe, it came into existence. Now in that, these specific divisions which were done, these specific openings, divisions, departments it was being divided, and different devatas who are in charge for taking care of that are being created. That's the stage which we are seeing now. Hiranmayad andakoshat utthaya salileshayat tamavishya mahadevo bahuda nirbibedakam. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Virat Purusha, situated himself in that golden egg which was lying on the water, and he divided it into many departments. So after dividing, what did he do? Next verse. Niravidyatasya prathamam mukham vani tato bhavat. After this, the Supreme Lord, how did he divide? The first thing which came about was prathamam. The first thing was mukham, referring to the mouth. So this was the first thing created in the Virat Rupa, or the cosmic manifestation. Mukham, and then Vani tato abhavat. Vani means the sense of speech. Vanya vahnir atho nase. And through this Vani, sense of speech, next what came about? Vahni. Vahni means the fire god, or Agni we say. So this is the deity in charge of the sense of speech, or the mouth. Vahni. And then, so Mukham, Vani, Vahni. Next what came about? Ataha, Nase. Nasaha or Nase means referring to the nose. Pranoto grana etayoh. From the nose, or the olfactory sense, came prana. Prana means the vital air. Pranavayu. I'll read the translation. First of all, a mouth appeared in him, and then came forth the organ of speech, and with it the god of fire, the deity who presides over that organ. Then a pair of nostrils appeared, and in them appeared the olfactory sense as well as prana, the vital air. So vital air, it appeared. Then in today's this verse, what is written on the board, we see Granad Vayur Abhidyetam. Granat means same thing, grana or olfactory sense, the sense of smelling. Vayuhu. So the Devata or the presiding deity for the olfactory sense, the sense of smelling, is Vayu. wind god. Abhidyetam, abhidyetam means appeared. Granad vayur abhidyetam. Then next, akshini chakshuretayoho. Akshi means the eyes. So akshini, it's a pair of eyes. Akshini, chakshuhu, the sense of sight. See, there is one thing known as the sense of sight. There is one thing known as the organ, eyes, and one thing, the deity in charge of the eyes. So there is the sense of sight, there is the organ, eyes to see, and the deity in charge. Who is the deity in charge for the eyes? Suryaha, the sun god. Akshini chakshuretayo tasmat suryo nyabhidyetam. The sun god appeared, who is the deity in charge for the eyes or the sense of sight, for seeing. Then next, karnau shrotram tataha dishaha. Next comes karna or ears, the two ears. Shrotram, the auditory sense. So there is this sense of hearing, and from that came about dishaha, the deities presiding over the directions. Prabhupada mentions it as Dik Devatas. So there are different Dikpalas or Dik Devatas, the deities in charge for various directions. So they are they are created when the organ of ears, the sense of the auditory sense came about. Along with that, the Dik Devatas became manifested. So this is how we see in this portion of the Bhagavatam how the creation of the Virat Rupa or the Virat form of the Lord, how step by step it came about. So here we see in the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentions the appearance of different bodily parts of the Lord's universal form and the appearance of the presiding deities of those bodily parts is being described. As in the womb of a mother, a child gradually grows different bodily parts, so in the universal womb of the universal form of the Lord gives rise to the creation of various paraphernalia. An example is given here, how in the womb of the mother, the child gradually grows. So in another part of same Kapila Muni's teachings we see, there is a descriptive narration given how at different time intervals the living entity, the soul, assumes a body initially of a pea shape, small size. Gradually the different openings come about and different senses, working senses become manifest, and different movements of the body at the end of 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, up to 9 months, how the child develops in the womb of the mother, we have heard. Similarly, in the creation of this universe, originally in the womb, that is the universal egg which is referred to here, Hiranmayad Andakoshat. So inside that, how the Supreme Lord in his Virat Rupa, in that Virat form, how step by step different organs, different senses and different devatas in charge for them have come about. It is similar to that of how a child develops in the womb of the mother. Similarly, the universe, in the universal egg, the Virat Purusha develops or is being created. Another point Srila Prabhupada mentions in this purport is of the sun. So we find the reference in the Brahma Samhita wherein it is said, Yat chakshuresha savita sakala grahanam. This Savita or the sun god, so he is like the eyes of the Supreme Lord. Chakshuhu esha Savita, and this Savita or the sun god, Sakalagrahanam Raja. He is the king of all the different planets. Sakalagrahanam Raja, Samasta Suramurtir Ashesha Tejaha. His Teja or the light, heat emanating from him is Ashesha, unlimited light and heat energy is emanating from Savita or sun god. Yachakshureta Savita Sakalagrahanam Raja Samasta Suramurti Rashesha Teja Yasyajnaya Brahmati Samvrita Kala Chakro. And this sun god, Yasya Ajnaya, under someone's Agnya or direction or instruction, this sun traverses in his orbit. Yes, Agnyaya Brahmati Samvrita Kala Chakraha. In the Kala Chakra, he orbits systematically on the order of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this is about that Savita. So there, that specific comparison, or it is explained how this Savita or the sun god is the eyes of the Supreme Lord. So now we may wonder, like say Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govindamadi Purusham, we say is Lord Govinda, the original Supreme Personality. He is Shyama Sundara, very beautiful dark complexion personality, having very beautiful eyes, beautiful features. But if you look at the sky and look at the sun, it is very blazing. You can't even see properly. It may appear very ferocious. Yes, the Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various features. For the impersonalists, he appears as the impersonal Brahman or the Brahma Jyoti, and for the next level, for the yogis, he appears as the Paramatma, the super soul residing in their hearts, and for the devotees, he appears in his original Shyama Sundara form, beautiful form. So there are many people who are not ready to accept this beautiful form of the Lord. They are very much interested or inclined in knowing about this material world, material nature, how the nature is giving rise to so many things, how the nature is working, how the elements came about, different, their own theories they have. For such people also, the Lord appears as Virat, in his Virat form. If we compare this with an example, there is in our country, there is one prime minister or the president. Of course, majority of the population are aware, especially educated people. So we are aware that's a post. As of today, there is one person who is occupying that post, and that position carries a lot of respect, a lot of power, and for whatever connected with that post comes the facilities, the different kinds of paraphernalia, the different assistants who are ready to assist him. So all of these things are there. So now the president of India, say, comes to HUBLI-DHARWAD, and they are passing through this road. So all the traffic will be stalled. A lot of policemen can see around, making final movement arrangements, checking everything. And there is one big convoy, beginning with police van, jeep, making some siren, and maybe 10 cars ahead, and in between one big car wherein the president is there, and behind that yet another 10 or 20 more cars, another big police van or jeep behind that, everything moving. Say there is a small child who is not aware who is president, prime minister, what's happening. So standing on the balcony of his home, he looks out at the road. All of these things are passing in front of him. So he may ask his father, what's happening? Who is that? The father will say, that is the president of India going there. The child may start thinking, oh, president of India means one big siren police jeep in the front, 10 cars, and one big car in the center, another 10 more cars behind, one more big police jeep behind. This is president of India. Of course, this is also correct in one sense. So this is just like, this is the understanding of people who worship, who accept the universe as in this specific what we are seeing in that Virat form, Virat Rupa. More descriptions will be seen how for this Virat Rupa, the Patala, the lower planetary systems are like the legs, the upper planetary system Satyaloka is like his head, and the different mountains, they are like the bones in his body. So this is the description given. So of course this is also one form, one specific form connected to that specific personality, that supreme personality. He has manifested himself in this universal form. And in this universal form, these are the specific things what we are seeing now. Different openings, apertures are there, and different people in charge are there. Just like when the president comes, there is a police commissioner who will oversee all of these arrangements. Along with him, maybe the governor, the chief minister, they also accompany him. They are in charge for different departments, for all of these things. So likewise we are seeing here. So beyond all of these things, it's only devotees out of their pure love, they can see the personality who is behind all of these external manifestation. The entire Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavatam, is meant to help a living entity to become devotee of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and through his devotion, Premanjana Churita Bhakti Vilochanena, through his devotion, through his love, develop that specific eyes to see the personality behind, who is Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami, who, for the purpose of we living entities, to give us a facility to enjoy independent of him, has created this material universe. And in creation of that, this material universe, all these various steps we are seeing now. So as devotees, we should be aware of all of these externals, about this universe, everything, how the universe was created. But more than this, develop our love, devotion towards the Supreme Lord, and become eligible to see him personally also. So with this we'll conclude for today. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.